Several years ago, I took a loved one to Memorial Hermann Hospital in Cypress, Texas. The treatment was so atrocious, I felt like suing, but I wanted change more. Sometimes getting change is what you need to focus on. Let me show you how to develop it in a big organization. What occurred? My loved one had mental illness. If you look at the statistics, 1 in 8 visits to the ER is with someone with mental illness, and the average wait times are 8 to 12 hours, which is ridiculous in and of itself. My history of going several times to the ER with this loved one, it's been more like 24 to 72 hours. It's been excruciating every single time we go. Now I get it. Going to the ER, nothing is ever perfect. I completely understand that. I'm not looking for perfection, but the level of care my loved one received, I felt was atrocious. The pharmacy wouldn't give him the meds that he was prescribed by the psychiatrist. Why? In my opinion, it was because the meds were expensive, and even though I would have been billed from and I had decent insurance, they thought he was going to be bounced real quickly. Number 2, it took him 3 days before he was seen by the team. 3 days? There was another kid who was brought in and he was seen within a couple of hours, not 3 days. Now, I realize every single case is different, but it went from bad to worse. I even told the charge nurse that the treatment and what they were doing was unethical. No change. I called patient advocacy. Nothing. They didn't even return my calls for 24 hours. Finally, I talked to the operator nicely. She got me with an exec. The exec made things happen. The exec got me answers. But it should never have come to that point. I was livid. I was furious. Hulk mad. Hulk smash. I do not condone any violence, but that was what was brewing inside me. I felt like the Hulk. When I went to address this, I talked to my mom, and my mom said, write a strongly worded letter first. Don't talk about suing, but talk about everything that went wrong and talk about how you want to create change. Let's see if they engage that way. And if they don't engage, then you might want to consider getting a lawyer. Sound advice. If I got a lawyer first, all that would happen is they would get their lawyers, they would bristle, they would go defend all of their actions. No change would happen, or not the right change. I sent the letter in. The head of patient advocacy called me. We talked, we discussed. It was polite, it was professional. Yelling doesn't solve these problems. So what happened after that? She set up a meeting with all the heads of departments that were affected in this. Some listened, some had empathy. One is a complete chowderhead. I don't know why he is the head of that department. If he had my vote, you need change there. But overall, the head of patient advocacy made people listen to my story, made empathy work, and we came up with a plan. One of the things they adopted, or one of the things they talked about, is I had a checklist for mental health, what to do. So I'm thinking I made the checklist when I had a clear mind, not when I was rushed. What was the end result? Change happened. They asked me to be part of their patient advocacy board. Why did change happen? Is because 2 people wanted it to happen. One on the company side who was empowered. And I give great kudos to the CEO and the senior leadership of Memorial Hermann Hospital. They've empowered this person to help get that change. The other was me. I was professional. I wasn't demanding. I try to come with solutions, not just pointing fingers. The head of patient advocacy has become a dear friend. This group I hold in amazement. But change happens because one person speaks up professionally, and on the company side, one person is empowered to have empathy and have the support of the senior management. I'm not saying never to sue. Sometimes you do need a lawsuit. Sometimes there were great grievances. I'm not saying this is the only path. What I am saying is think of what you want. Do you want change so that other people don't experience this? If you want that, this is a good method. Make sure that person's empowered, but also come there and seek to help them understand. That is the way you get the best growth and the long-term customers. I'm deeply appreciative to Memorial Hermann, the executive staff, and the patient advocacy, and the heads of the departments that showed empathy. They are doing amazing work, and we're trying to help narrow that time gap for patients with mental illness. If 12% of those are coming in, those are the 12% that they're willing to focus on. All I can say is be like Memorial Hermann Hospital. If you're a leader, empower change and make sure that that person has the authority and the backing of the senior leadership. On your side, be an advocate. Advocacy is a powerful thing. I'm Brandon Fears, and this is SMB Growth Unlimited. If you'd like to know more, subscribe. I'll have more of these videos. If you want to talk to me about my checklist for mental health, I'll put a link here to my website for my company. If you want to talk to me about getting change and how this works, happy to have the discussion with you. Please set up time with me. There's a 15-minute link on the website or in the link below on the description. Thank you very much.